Is Raya on there?
Yeah, and now it. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Old Fashioned Catholics. I'm Nick.
I'm Kevin.
And we are Catholics who like to drink old fashions once in a while. Kevin, take it away.
Yeah, if you're joining us for the first time, welcome to our show. We are two Catholic dads that like talking about things relevant to our own lives. Tonight, we'll be talking with Nick and his team of missionaries with him here on screen. Live from Cambodia, so if there's a little bit of a delay, we apologize in advance. I think I'm experiencing a little bit of a delay, and it might just be on my end, hopefully. But if you're experiencing that, we will do our best to keep things as smooth as possible. And if you would like to grab a drink and mix a drink and join us, alcoholic or non, it doesn't matter to us. I think I see an old-fashioned Catholics class that just got raised. Am I right on that?
It's this one.
No, do you have an old-fashioned Catholic class?
We used to do them on, but this is pink.
No.
Oh.
I think we have.
Yeah,
Nick's is.
Mine is. It's the only one that survived.
Yeah.
I got mine as well.
Yeah. You might. By the way, I think we still owe Monsignor one of those. We have to send it to that Monsignor out in Vermont. I thought I'd bring that up on.
Yeah, you will have to let me know. There's a few people that we owe them to, and I have them sitting in my office waiting to be shipped out, and they're burning a hole in the floor, so I need to get them out. What's that?
Well, Heidi, that might actually be us. We always have this at the beginning of the episode. Sorry, guys. And we're not going to edit it out because we're just going straight live. You guys just be quiet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Here, we'll switch over to a hotspot.
This is Cambodia.
It's probably just ours. I even moved the router out here. We'll cut out for a second and then come back in.
Kevin, what are you experiencing on your end?
It was skipping really badly. Right now, I heard you fine, but you're frozen at the moment.
Let's see where the comments are because there's already a couple comments. Hello from
I can hear you
California.
again, Nick. I can hear you again, Nick.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Nick,
It's
we have
probably.
Well, you are in Cambodia.
Oh, he's frozen.
Oh, so maybe. It's true. It has to go across the world. Oh.
It's going to outer space and back. Give it a second.
Oh, darn it.
Man, this is probably the worst it's been. Man, this is the worst it's been feed-wise.
Darn it.
I actually, so check online. I'm gonna look at the YouTube video, the actual, and see if it's us he's the most, or if it's Kevin. We're gonna kick him out of the entire meeting.
Yeah, I will not fault you for that.
Okay.
I wore my
Kevin,
brightest
if you're able to
tropical
answer us,
looking shirt.
are we frozen?
There, let's see right
Good.
now.
Me too.
Am I frozen?
So are we frozen to you or are you just freezing? What are you seeing? So are we frozen to you or are you just freezing? What are you seeing?
Yeah, see, he's more frozen than us.
So are we frozen to you or are you just freezing?
Now it's looping. So we'll close it. There you go. So Kevin, it seems like actually a lot of the freezing is you. So we seriously, I'll take over and we'll see. Although I'm sorry guys, this is actually the worst it's been. So if there's 8 people watching, don't leave. Don't leave. I don't know how to switch that out because I even checked our Wi-Fi. It's got really good whatever the phrase is. We'll be right.
Rooster.
Vodka. And Deepwood Void, I think that's Grant or Curtis. It's one of those guys, I think. All right, so we lost Kevin, but we're back. I think we're actually back. So hey guys, so what we could do is, I know that there are a few people watching, and if you have questions, you can toss them in there. Otherwise, I'm just going to introduce people just in case. If you followed like Freely Given at all or the missionary work, then you already know kind of their faces. But a good intro would be nice. And that's doesn't need to be scripted. You know who you are. Would you guys like to introduce yourselves to the people back there?
How do you kind of want a bit of a full introduction or what?
We got all the time in the world.
No, let's just we'll do a brief introduction
There
and
you
then
go.
you ask us questions later.
Yes, that is how the
Okay,
show goes.
I'm Jacelyn. I'm his wife.
And what are you on the team? What do you do here?
I am the mother of 5 children. I'm homeschooling, and learning the language is my main gig right now. And then, of course, I want to move into medical mission work. I've gotten to do a little bit and hoping for more.
Nice to meet you. Would you please?
I'm Raya, and I'm from Brainerd. I came over here as an assistant missionary, alone with all of these people.
I'm Sabrina. I help homeschool all the children. So I just teach the kids during the day. So
It's not just, but she does teach the kids during the day. There are how many kids that you have to teach?
well, Jason is Hudson, so 4. Right? 4. Yeah.
So that's us. I'm going to check one more thing to make sure. Hey, okay, if you are listening and you can chat in, are we frozen or is this working just fine? And we'll just wait.
And someone asked us, are we in Ohio? No.
Pumpkin eater. Are you in Ohio? No, we're not in Ohio. And Deepwood's Void, thank you. We're right. There's a rooster that starts at 2 a.m. here. Starts at sometimes 3 and goes all night, and then they all start. So that's what you'll hear. They do it during the day. Everybody's up, but they still do what they do.
There's so many of them.
There's so many roosters.
Wow.
It's fine. We'll just fix this, and if it doesn't fix, we'll just scrap it and try again some other time. Not some other time. I know you guys don't want to take time to do another time. I'm just rambling. Kevin's gone though. Sorry guys, Kevin's gone. We're just waiting for him to come back.
Is anybody able to comment whether we're on there or not?
Yeah, well, I had asked, but nobody did.
Right.
Is anybody able to comment whether we're
Yeah, so we're streaming just fine. That's fine. Well, I had asked, but nobody did. The sound
Okay, so let's stop our really awkward conversation and just.
Yeah. So anyway, the other day I was thinking about, because we haven't done a hey bless Cal, we haven't done an episode in a really long time, Kevin and I, and I was thinking about stuff. Welcome back, Kevin. And I was thinking about how on our team anyway, we have 3 adult Catholic, vibrant, independent, holy women, and they're all in very different places of their life. And I just thought it was kind of inspiring to me that this is what like our first team on our way over here was comprised of. And they're in such different places of their life that I just thought it'd be fun to have them on. You often hear Catholics especially, but Christians in general have gotten a bad rap over the years. Like women don't get to, like women have to just be at home and do the housework and all the cliches or whatever. And I just thought it'd be cool to have 3 on anyway who never do housework of any kind. And just find out none.
I
So,
sweep constantly.
no, it's good. So anyway, I thought it'd be cool to have them on and Kevin's on board as long as he can. Are you good now, Kevin? Are you clear?
Well, I don't know. You tell me.
Yes.
Your response time was good. There wasn't
Yeah.
any delay.
I
But
think what we'll like is if you give us a little more direction. Give us some
I
questions.
know, I'm getting to that.
lead
So what
us.
we're
No, I
gonna
just
do-
wanted to let you know.
what we're gonna do is we always start the show the same way. I try to find out, Kevin. It's late at night for you, so what are you drinking tonight?
I'm drinking a vodka orange, my friend, and it's good.
Nice.
Oh my gosh, I just got something down my shirt, like a bug or
A
something.
bug just flew down Jason's shirt.
Yeah, go off
Um,
camera for that one. Nick,
I-
how about you, my
um,
friend? And then your guest as well.
My niece is visiting, and she lived in Korea for the last year. So she came, and last night we bought some sort of, it's like sake, but it's not. It's Korean, and I can't remember. It's like bunga bunga or something. She said the name of it. But anyway, that's what I have in this glass. It's like a cloudy rice wine, and it's fun. It's good. I think you usually maybe mix it with things. I'm not sure, but
Oh
I
my
thought I would
gosh.
try that.
My sister.
Hey, do you know what it is?
Well, I forget the name. My sister student taught in Korea, and what you're drinking right now is her favorite drink. I've been looking for it in the States ever since.
Oh, well, I'll send you a bottle. I won't send you a bottle, but
No,
you should find it. It's very tasty. Jason, what are you drinking today?
It's 10 a.m. here. I'm having some soda water, always in a chiller cup because in the heat it gets watered down and warm really, really fast.
All right.
nice.
Raya, what are you drinking at 10 a.m.?
I do need some wine. What kind? I couldn't tell you.
It was bought by who? Wasn't it bought by a friend of yours or something?
I bought it from my friend Tola, who owns
Orange
a wine
or October.
company here.
Yes.
How do you
Not a
already have a
trafficker.
friend? How do you already have a friend there?
Oh, she has lots of.
I have
Yes.
so many friends.
That was actually something when we first got here. Like about a month in, we were doing like prayer requests around the table after dinner, and she's like, "I just want friends. That's what my prayer request is." And now she just has endless friends. None of them speak English, but she's always there
Some of
staring
them-
at them.
Some of them speak little. Some speak a lot. Some speak little. Some speak none. But it all works out.
They're always just staring at me and petting my hair. I never know what they're saying.
Yeah, Evangeline has gotten sick of that with the whitish blonde hair she's got. She's had enough of it. She just shoves people away now. Okay, Sabrina, what are you drinking?
I don't know what I'm drinking. Lychee something.
Yeah, it's like lychee or lychee liqueur mixed with a little bit of vodka at 10 a.m.
It's tasty.
You guys are all drinking too early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I gotta go teach after this, but that's okay.
Teacher was weird today. So anyway, okay. So then, Kevin, we always
Love
ask our guests, but we always ask our guests, "How was your day?" Because it's normally late at night when we have them on. So I'm gonna, Kevin, we can start with you. How was your day?
Yeah, well, I'm not the guest, Nick. I guess you and me are
Okay.
still checking in with each other too. My day was wild. I had a wild day. I got a lot going on this week. It's extremely cold here. It's barely been above 0 all week. Degrees Fahrenheit for those of you who are not familiar with Fahrenheit. So it's been very cold, and we've been all cooped up, and we have cabin fever. And I had a wild day at work as well. Just I don't know. I was looking forward to this because it's been so long since we've talked, and just things feel so weird this week. So it's good for a distraction from the bitter cold. Last night, I had to flood our local hockey rink in our neighborhood because it's the dad's responsibility to flood the rink every night of the week. So last night was my night to be out there till midnight flooding. And we're using, it's outside, and there's a giant fire hose, and you're just spraying thousands of gallons of water on ice rinks for 3 hours.
You get to use a fire hose.
Yeah, I mean, I'm too light. It pushes me across the ice, but the bigger guys hold on to it, and I just help move the hose.
That's amazing. I've always wanted to use a fire hose. That's like little kid dreams. Get to spray the fire hose.
Yeah, and I now have a new appreciation for the term drinking from a fire hose because I tried it, and it does not go well. So
Okay,
I'm
well, so
asking-
then yes, I guess.
Well, I have one scripted question for all of you because it is the beginning of your day, sort of the beginning of your day. Hopefully not the beginning of your day, but I wanted each of you to answer individually because your answers will be so different. Why did you come to Cambodia? Like, why are you there individually? Because you're all over there. You're all a different part of the team. You're all a different part of the group with different roles. So that's my thought, and I would love to hear, and I'm sure our listeners would like to hear, what brought you all to drop everything in your lives in the United States and move almost as far away as possible.
Sure, I think that if I'll kind of answer more briefly first because a lot of people are more familiar anyway with our story because Nick has shared that a lot. So the Lord called me to missionary work a long time ago, really placed it in my heart as a child. And so we have just been kind of going through all the steps that he has asked us to in life, and he called me to medical work. And so we got through that training and then I was finally done with all of it and we were able to move overseas. Cambodia, really just because, again, like that is where we felt the Lord's calling. One aspect of it was that this is where doors opened for us to come. We kind of put out feelers in a few different countries where we had connections and we're open to going anywhere, but all the doors opened in Cambodia. And then we just had that inner peace that it was the right place to go. So that's it in a nutshell, because you guys are more familiar with ours, but Raya and Sabrina have different stories. So
Exactly.
What eggs do you want me to? Okay. I came because, well, a few things pushed me to decide to come over here. One, Jason and Nick asked, and a big thing with me is years ago now, I guess not 7, 8, I don't know, years ago, Father Ben asked me to be a youth minister for the church. And I said yes to that. And it felt like saying yes to God, to something that he was asking me to do. And I loved being a youth minister. I really enjoyed my kids. I miss my kids from youth ministry. It's something I really enjoyed. I had such a great positive experience with that. And while I was there, I was working on my teaching license. And when they asked, it just felt like something that God was asking the next step for me to do in following him, was to come here and teach the kids and help get poor Christian through high school. And, and it's tough here because the kids don't have friends, and it was helpful for them too, because I think with Viana and I coming, there was something familiar for them. And
So pause. Who's Viana?
Viana is my daughter. Sorry. So she came along too. So just and helping them get the kids settled, so that they can have a positive experience here too. And I've really enjoyed it. I really enjoy teaching. I enjoy being around kids. So it's been a really positive experience. So that is why I am here.
Am I supposed to like
No,
move
it'll
closer?
get you.
Okay. Well, for me, I was 17 maybe at the time, or 18, and I was at the point in my life where I had to make a decision of going to college or what I wanted to do after high school. And so that was where mine was at in the process. And then at a retreat I was at, I ran into Nick and we had a conversation. He told me about his family moving to Cambodia and kind of threw it out there if I wanted to come with, whatever. So he said, think about it, pray about it. And a few months later, I was trying to make the decision because I was like, I want to go to college, but this is also a great opportunity. So I don't know what to do. And so then I started making pros and cons lists, but that didn't really help me much. And then I started thinking about the reasons why I wanted to go to Cambodia and why I wanted to go to college. And the reasons for college were just much more shallow and for things that I wanted to do for myself, instead of kind of the more deeper reasons for Cambodia and feeling like I could pursue what God was calling me to do for my life. So that's kind of how I decided to go to Cambodia. And I feel like I've always kind of had that missionary tug on my heart. And that's how I decided. And then I took the jump. It was scary, but I did it. And that's why I'm here.
Holy cow. So what was your parents' reaction when you told them you wanted to come to Cambodia?
Well, initially when I came home from the retreat, I just kind of like mentioned it to my parents, like, yeah, Nick was telling me about this. Like, I think that would be cool. But it kind of seemed like super out of reach. And I think they kind of thought that too. And then once I finally made my decision a while later, when I told them, they're like, wait, what? Are you serious? And then they're like, well, if you're serious about this, then we kind of have to be serious about this. Like, I guess I wasn't really expecting that. And so then they had to wrap their head around it. And they're like, okay, well, let's dig more into it. Then let's ask more questions. Let's figure this out. So they were supportive. They were really at first nervous about it and kind of unsure what they thought. But after prayer and stuff, they had more peace with it, which was super helpful.
They actually came up to, we set a date, because at one point Jason was like, are we going to meet her or the parents or anybody? I guess we should probably do that. Yeah. So they set a date and they came up and they stayed for like 5-6 hours and just sort of talked all the logistics that we knew at the time through, and then said that they'd pray about it and whatnot. So, which is cool.
Man, so a similar question along that line then for you, Sabrina, would be, where was Viana at when, the decision is ultimately yours to make, but how involved did you have Viana in the process or not?
If she had really not wanted to come, then I don't think I would have come, because I don't want her to be unhappy. And she's definitely at that age, because she just turned 14 on Monday.
Mm-hmm, Monday.
So I mean, she's a little older, and so I feel like she needs to be in our decision making with big decisions in our life. And so, but she was excited. She was really excited when we first started talking about it. So she has been happy with coming here. So she was definitely part of the discussion.
Okay, good to know. How involved is that rooster in your guys' future meal plans?
Oh, he is so annoying. I am a vegan and I wanted to go kill that thing. I have never wanted to kill another animal so badly.
I actually approached our landlady and just said, listen, I understand that I'm from a different culture. They recently got a rooster and it starts at sometimes 2 and 3 a.m. Our windows are open.
It doesn't stop. It doesn't.
It climbs trees, and so it's up in this tree here, and so it's window level for our room. Just and so I asked, is it possible? And I mean it. Can we buy them a different rooster? Can we eat this one and then buy them a different rooster? And she like laughed at. She just said no, and I said, well, doesn't that happen sometimes if it annoys people? And she basically made it clear that it doesn't annoy anyone else but us. So, but if I had to be,
they literally don't hear the rooster. Like the sound does not affect them.
Not at all.
It's not waking me up at night anymore.
Yeah.
It was waking us up at night. So it's either calmed down or we're learning to sleep through
It
it.
has not
So
calmed down.
No, because I hear him at night. I don't wake up to him, but he's when I'm up late, I hear him. He just keeps going.
Davey and I today, because we're up on the second level into their yard, and we watched they were cockfighting today. There were 2 roosters like trying to kill each other for a little while. So that was entertaining. That was
Kill.
Yeah. We were hoping that the one that we hate would die. But
Did you guys start throwing money down to the other rooster to help it win? Like, beat him, get him.
we then we can move on. But also, if you hear it throughout the episode, I decided that what the rooster is saying is, "I'm a rooster," and so then. Now you'll hear it during the episode. He'll just declaring that he's the rooster. He does it over and over. The other day, I heard Evie or Hudson, somebody all alone, just going, "Oh, rooster!" So, anyway, tell us on that. Do you have a next question, Kevin?
No, I don't. I was just thinking that is the essence of you, Nick. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
You come up with a voice that will stick in my memory for the rest of my life.
I wish now it won't. Now it heard
Now
me
it'll be
mocking
quiet,
it, and it was like, screw you, I'm not gonna be on your episode. Okay, so then I would say, well, for all 3 of you then.
No.
So for you 3 then, one of the points that I was bringing out was that it's unique. There it was. Did you hear it? It's funny that they would start.
I heard it.
I'm sorry. Okay. So anyway, just the idea that you guys are, it's very independent of you. Have you experienced any negativity about your call to mission, like in the varying degrees that you have it, like you for a long time and it's brand new for you and you thought about it? Like, have you experienced ever any sort of negativity And again, the setup is that you're all in different places. I mean, you have 5 kids and have gone to med school. You, single mom, you have to Viona to take care of. Have people say anything about that? And then you just like have people been negative about the decision at all? And whoever wants to go first can.
Mhm. Well, definitely. And I think, we've been working on this for longer. But Nick and I have had comments anywhere from, don't you want to make more money? We've had definitely sometimes people with like a really serious face will be like, how do your children feel about this? So that's one. We've had a lot of comments about, why don't you just stay in your own culture? We need people here in the US. And man, like that has validity to it. Like, yes, oh my goodness, the US is needing people right now. But once you get here and see how little there is here, absolutely Cambodia needs people more than the US does. The US has a ton of Christians there that can be working for the Lord. And so definitely we hear that quite often, from sometimes total strangers, sometimes family members, and I mean, I think like I remember my grandpa just being more of a practical minded person was like, no, what you need to do is go on mission trips, work here, make money, go on mission trips. And so there's been a lot of different things we've been told over the years.
We've had people genuinely like they hear what you want to do and just point blank, just be like, well, have you thought about your kids? And you want to be like, what? No, I've never even considered their well-being. Like it just, yeah, we've had that.
Yeah, what kids?
What? They don't get it, bro. Okay, yeah,
I would say for sure. I think I heard it all, because especially since it was in my coming out of high school, that's the main question every single person asks you. What are you doing next year? Where are you going to college? I'm not. And then I would hear all sorts of things from a ton of support and then a ton of negativity and like, are you sure you want to do that? Or why would you want to do that? Just negativity. But at that point I was like, yeah, I don't know what to expect, but I know it's going to be great. So
I think Jason hit it on the head. I got a lot of the same things that they got. I know a lot of people who thought I was leaving my daughter in the U.S. while I came here, which I didn't understand that one. What are you doing with Lana? Well, she's coming with. I'm not leaving her here. Like,
I also phrased like a pet. Like, what are you going to do with the
yeah, like that doesn't make any sense. But yeah, there is a lot of that, because that was a lot of thing with people too. Is, well, you're not going to be making any money. Well, that's not the point. And
yes,
when you're called to that, like that's not. God works things out for you, and He has in a lot of ways. So it just, yeah, that's. But yeah, she definitely hit it on the head. It was all the same. So
when I go there and I make no money, that will be a huge success because that's what I'm going there to do.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Mission accomplished.
I know.
Hold on, let me just check it. Okay. Oops. Sorry, I was messing with something on the screen, Kevin. Sorry about that.
Has there been any major adjustment that sticks out to any one of you as one of the most difficult 6 months in now?
I know one for me is I come from a family of 6, but a lot of like my sisters are moved out, and so it was always a quiet household most of the time. And coming here, living with the Davidsons in a household of 10, and it's just always been so loud and screaming kids and stuff. It was a huge adjustment. It still is, but I mean, I guess I've learned a ton from it, and it's been really good, but at times very challenging. So that's kind of been something that stuck out to me.
And it's like, the benefit is now you know what it will be like someday. We had no clue. We had never lived in a noisy household full of children.
And we had the benefit, I guess it happened incrementally, like, well, two,
yes,
and
yes.
then one at a time after the first 2. But yeah.
I mean, if you have kids, there's just no way they're going to be as crazy as Nick and Jacelyn's kids. So you're all right.
My daughter has now made the comment that she only wants 2 children after living with all the children in the house. She's like, I only want 2. That's it. All right.
And I've been on like the other side of it where I've loved watching you guys have to deal with a family full of people, like because it's it's not easy to be thrown together with, it's 3 separate families kind of, it's like 3 separate entities put together. And I'm sure, well, I know for you guys, there's been a couple times where you're like, it'd probably be better if we didn't all live together. But like when we first came here, our plan was we would live in a place, and then Raya and Sabrina would get an apartment just nearby, as close as possible, and then would just, come every day for class and whatnot, to teach. But like when we started looking at places, we found a couple of different places around town. And then one day the realtor lady was just like, hey, well, why don't we just go look at a big place? And I pulled up and I was like, yes, this is the place. I haven't shown it. Kevin has seen it, but it was just really big and it had space for everything that we wanted to do. And so then I said, well, okay, the girls have to see it to see what their response is. And everybody's initial response was like, yes, this is what we should do. We should all live here, which is great. And then when you get far enough into it, when the chaos sets in, it's just been good to see everybody have to scramble with that. And that's secretly one of my joys of being here, is because it's really good for us.
I feel you there. I totally get what you're saying.
Can we turn the fans on? Will it be too loud?
Oh, I can turn mine.
That'd be awesome.
No, continue with what you're saying. Continue what you're saying. It's really good for the growth, because I'm tracking with you.
Yeah, well, so I which was it? Was it Teresa Lassou or Teresa Babla? Who were you talking about the other day who mentioned who had lived with people? You mentioned someone.
Oh, it was Teresa Lassou.
Okay,
I know
Teresa
that,
Lassou.
yeah.
But just the idea that, like, no, it will never actually be easy. It's not even easy to live with your own family. Like, that's not an easy thing to do, and especially with varying ages of kids and some of ours regressing because of the move and all the emotion. And so it's not easy in any way, because then suddenly you have, I remember Sabrina at one point being like, Hudson's never been like this. He regressed quite a bit for a little while. And so it's not easy in the moment, but I've been sitting back. I've been very, very thankful on so many levels. But one of them is just that you can see how it forces all of us adults to be more loving, to be more adultish and humble. And it forces those things, which isn't fun, but I think it's kind of objectively pretty good, even though it's not enjoyable.
Has anybody
comment?
experienced?
Oh, I was thinking.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was thinking of, well, what are some like country-specific adjustments? And I was thinking that I have been just super happy to be here. I'm really, really enjoying it. And just every day when I'm driving by places, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad to be here. But I think the country adjustment that's been toughest for me is the heat. These last like 2 months, it has been like paradise. This is their Cambodian winter. And I'm not sweating all day long, and I don't have to have a fan pointed directly at me to feel like I'm not going to die. So it's been heavenly. But before that, yes, I mean, it was very extreme, and the weather's going to get extreme again in another month or so. So heat adjustment has been tough for me, and I think that it will get better. It does apparently get better, and you learn to just not care that you're sweating. Like what I think when I'm out and I'm really hot and feeling gross is my shower is going to feel so good tonight. My shower is going to feel so good tonight, and it just helps me get through.
What's the weather like in the wintertime?
Oh, it's like
85 degrees
80
plus.
Yeah, 80 plus, yeah. But it still feels so much better because it's supposed to get to like 100 in a month here.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to just stay 100 for a couple of months. And that's going to be really hot and horrible because it's humid too. And so that won't be fun.
Our next door neighbor is from Hudson, Wisconsin, actually. Long story, but his name's Harlan. And I asked him the other day, I was like, hey, is it really as bad, the hot season, as all the people here say? And he just said, you have no idea. You have no idea how bad it is. And so I was expecting him to say, like, no, they overrate it. But he used to work for an airline, and he said, I just leave. I can get on a plane anytime I want, and I just go. I get out of here because it's unbearable. So that's April and May. So that'll be interesting.
And we're just going to find survival techniques. There are air-conditioned coffee shops. That will probably be a lifesaver. That's going to be the time to get a kiddie pool. I'll probably sit in it. Like just anything we can think of.
Yes. Well, I'll be sitting in a kiddie pool on the deck. Yes.
Do the next episode from there.
Yes.
How about for you guys?
I was going to say the bugs because they belong in a horror flick here. I didn't know night crawlers could get so big or centipedes could get so big.
Or beetles.
the
Oh,
giant
yeah.
hornets here. Everything's enormous. Like they all get so big. And the mosquitoes, because I already get bit up really bad. Like that's in the summertime in Minnesota, I get bit up really bad. But here it's always, it's constant. So I leave the house and I get bit up. So there are days I just don't leave the house. Like I will try and go a block of days not leaving the house just because I get bit up so bad. But right now they're even in the house. I don't know. It's been like a change of mosquitoes. I don't know.
They're out all day, every day.
Yeah,
It's not
the
like
bugs
Minnesota
here.
where they're just at night. They're
In
all day.
Minnesota,
every
they
day.
take a break during the day, and
Yeah.
here they just bite you all day
The bugs are something else.
I do have a picture.
Man.
This isn't from Cambodia, but this is a picture of how big earthworms can get in places.
They're so big. I thought they were snakes when they were going across the road one day. Like
Yeah, they look like snakes.
there's a construction site down the road, and we were riding our bikes home one day, and they were like crawling across. They'd like gotten scared or something. We're like crawling across the street, and they were so big. I was like, "Is that a snake?" Was not a snake.
It looked like the road had a ton of snakes on it.
Yeah,
And they were just
no
massive
snakes.
earthworms.
Yes,
They
did
do
not
have a
know
ton
they
of
could get that
snakes
big.
here, too, though.
they do. We have a big one, a big green one that lives in our yard.
A snake.
Yeah,
Have your
big green
kids been
snake.
catching any bugs or catching and killing any animals? Like, what's that been like with all the
Lizards
crazy
and
animals
geckos.
around?
Geckos.
Geckos.
Yeah, they love chasing geckos is the main one. And there's lots of cool frogs to find.
Yeah. The geckos are okay because they eat the other bugs, so we actually like them to live in the house.
We welcome the geckos in.
Yeah, but there are big giant lizards too that can stay outdoors, and they're very loud. That's the other thing. They're
Yes!
so loud. The geckos are loud.
Do they
The
go,
lizards are loud.
lizard?
Yeah, they're so annoying. They're so annoying. They sound like they're indoors all the time, but they're like outside of the house.
They'll be by your window and they do this like
so annoying.
and that's like a mating call.
Mhm.
The birds don't shut up either. They're extremely loud. I've been amazed at how loud the birds are here. What is that?
This
The
therapy
creatures.
session brought to you by
They're just happy. The birds are just
All the
happy
time.
that there's no snow.
Yeah.
My mom was talking to me the other day and she's like, "Oh, those birds in the background are beautiful."
No.
And I told Sabrina, she's like, "I hate them. I hate the birds."
I know. I kind of like the birds.
They're so loud. In the morning, they sound like an alarm clock, like because they keep going, they keep making a noise and a noise and a noise and a noise, and I'm like, that's not an alarm. I don't want an alarm.
Tell us how you really feel.
Yeah. Don't hold back.
Can't handle the wildlife.
Yeah, we have.
Don't worry. We'll talk about our good things next.
There are good things, but it's good to get the bad things.
Yeah, I'm
Now.
really excited to hear like what's a really good thing. Tell me something good for you over the last 6 months, each of you. And you can take that any direction you want.
We Jason we have the Sisters of Charity, some other Teresa's
The order that she
yes,
started.
her order that
Mhm.
she started here. They run an orphanage, and Jason had talked to the head lady, and she finally let us come. The girls, Vianna, my daughter, and Esther, Jason's oldest daughter, to the orphanage to help out, and I've been going with, and that has been loads fun. Like that's just been great to go and work with the ladies. Those sisters are so nice, and I just have so enjoyed being able to go to the orphanage and play with the kids. They have kids from birth to 4. They keep them that long. We have not had that discussion where they go after they're 4, but they keep kids from birth to 4, and that has been such a fun experience. We just recently started doing that, and I've enjoyed that so much. It just has been such a great opportunity to hang out with them, and the sisters come to mass, and it's fun to see them at mass and see them doing work and see them walking down the street, and because they live just down the street from the church. So even when we leave church and we see them walking down the street, like it's just fun to see them. So, but they're so sweet. So it's been so much fun to talk to them and get to know them. So
Yeah, so
That's
most of the
amazing.
sisters speak English, so they were able to communicate with them nicely. And yeah, I was just really happy for my daughters to have this opportunity to see these sisters in action. Because man, we like our children in the U.S. do not get to see religious sisters very much. It's like here and there at conferences.
And
That's an amazing point.
Like 25 kids there, and they're all little kids, and it's just so much fun though. It is a lot of fun to go there and
Well,
be
think about
around
that
them.
opportunity where that volunteering is created. That opportunity to volunteer was just created because you're there and you have dedicated all of your time to whatever comes your way. So you can go do that and that's not something you would, like you said, we don't have much opportunity to hang out with sisters in the U.S. But part of it is because we don't have the freedom to.
Let me get your nose right before you come up here.
I
I whispered that right into the mic.
Yeah.
I'm hungry.
Ah.
Look at this little wild child. Her
I'm
hair hasn't been done
hungry.
yet today. So that's like, yay, mommy, you haven't done your hair. Yes, okay.
I'm hungry.
Okay.
Yeah, is one. It's a good point, Kevin. Like that.
I'm
That wasn't something
I'm
we.
Hudson watching something. And I want to watch something.
Go watch with
Yeah,
Hudson.
you can watch with Hudson, okay?
That there's only certain things you can experience if you make yourself available to them, and because we didn't plan on the Missionaries of Charity, we didn't even know that we would be near them. We knew that they were in country, but we didn't know we'd be near them at all. So to be able to experience that for the girls, like it was just, oh wow, I wonder if we could. And in fact, they just got a new Mother Superior who she's just really open. She's like, yes, please come. We've told her like the mission teams that come, we could go there and do projects with them and help. And that just developed. In fact, a lot of the stuff has just developed just by being here that we hadn't planned. I was going to say for you ladies, and I'm going to trade off. Jason can be here, and Kevin, you'll just take the interview side of things. But has there been any point when you first, when you got here, has there been any point where you've thought to yourself, like, I don't know, I think this is kind of a dud, like where you thought, like, I don't know if coming here was wise, or if it was, or has that not happened? And if so, how did it resolve? And I'll go trade out with Jason so she can be here.
I really think for me that has not happened. I have definitely dealt with homesickness and to certain extremes, but I've never wanted to go back on my decision or would have done anything differently. Like, I have loved every moment here, the good and the bad. So definitely I've thought about home, and I've thought about wanting to see everyone again, and homesickness. I miss my family, but never would have gone back on my decision.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's just been so much stuff that we've been doing because we've just kept so busy in the time that we've been here. And I mean, part of that is just getting settled. But yeah, I can't think of anything that would have made it a dud in any way.
Okay. How about Raya?
That's
Is there,
good.
Something in the last 6 months that just sticks out to you? It's been really good.
Yes, well, so many things. But I mean, I get to just go out, and I've been able to do so much. So first thing was I get to go to Ta'am and teach English, which is a village like an hour or so away from here. And that opened me up to many things, like many relationships and connections with priests and stuff. And from there, I've been able to go to many different synods,
Yeah. Synods,
which are like week-long retreats, basically. And so I've been able to go to many of those and meet a ton of people. And since the country is so small, like everyone from every Catholic church in every province knows each other.
Oh,
So
wow.
once I started going to a few of those, now everywhere I go, I know people, and which is so much fun. And like one of the sisters, this is another nice thing. Like the sisters are involved in everything, so you always gonna be around sisters. And one of them has just become like one of my best friends, and I go everywhere with her. And so that's just been really fun, going to many different
How
things
old is she?
and knowing people.
Which sister?
Sister Meg. I don't know if you've met her actually.
I don't think I've. Yeah.
She, I don't know, maybe late 20s, early 30s.
There's a wide
Where is
variety in
she
their
from?
range
Like,
of
what's
ages, and they're
her,
from all over the place.
Where is she from?
She's actually Cambodian.
Okay.
She is
wow.
Cambodian.
Yeah.
Okay.
How crazy!
Because we
to
have
have
ones
that
from
experience.
India and Africa. So
Yeah, it's been so fun because, like we were saying earlier, back home, you aren't really exposed to sisters very often unless you go to a camp or to a retreat
Yeah.
or something. And here they're just everywhere, and they're in charge of a lot of different activities and stuff. And so you're always around them, and they're so much fun to be around. They are.
They're like the lifeblood of
I'd
the
ask
church,
you-
and what a different experience to be able to go anywhere you go. It's like, Catholics that they all know each other. Like, that's just so wild. Like, every church
Yes.
I'm at, people know me, and I'm not even from here.
Yes. It's so much fun because it's like, oh, Raya, do you want to go to this province today? Like, I'll hop in with them, and then I know that I'm gonna know people when I go there, which is just so much fun. I get to go see these friends, or I get to go see these people.
And it's also been really neat because she'll just be here at the house, and she'll be like, I just got a text. Can I go to this province for 2 days? And because they'll tell her like, hey, we're leaving in a couple of hours if you want to come. And she's able to just pack up and hop into the back of a truck and then be gone for days in a new province with a new church. And so that's been really neat that she's had those. They've opened, these doors just keep opening.
Wow. So do they just decide randomly we're gonna go somewhere at the last minute? Like, is that a normal thing?
No, they usually have it planned, but they don't tell me until last minute.
You've been involved when priests are getting ready for something, right? Like how they organize those things. Like,
Oh
you've been
yeah,
involved in
yeah,
that,
you're
Kevin,
right.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're right. Hey, can you be here tomorrow across the diocese to speak
Yeah,
at this thing?
Yep.
Oh,
And we don't have any food or beverages planned for you
No,
either.
no,
Yes.
Yeah, I will say one of the places we stayed when we first got here, we stayed where a priest lives.
Was epic, and she'll
It was.
always live in our memories.
We were all tired and it was nuts. We ended up at this place we showed up like 11 at night, and it was out in a small village, and it was just rustic. It was just open air. It was just bugs. It was just spiders. It was all the scary things, and we just were all just sleeping in it. And at some point, it was the next day, I realized, well, that's just because that dude lives there. He just doesn't he's a French priest, but he's a really nice guy, but he lives sort of like a frat boy. And just like, I don't care about the bugs. Like, there were dirty dishes in the sink, and you're like, yeah, that's just. So some of that would be the same in the States. Maybe not so many bugs, but quite similar to the way some of the priests.
You got to tell them what Father Will did, though, because Father Will is the one that brought us there.
Yeah, oh yeah, so he didn't tell us anything. He's just like, yeah, you'll stay with the priest. There's accommodations. And so we showed up, and it was so late, and my mother-in-law was there and was like, what's going on? And so anyway, we stayed there. That's my impression. So we stayed there, and then we did leave the next day. But that night, Father Will, it's late at night, and there wasn't a place for him. There wasn't like a slat of wood for him to stay at. So he walked like almost, I guess, an hour and a half or something.
We didn't
back.
know till the next day.
We didn't know till the next day. I just thought he stayed somewhere on premises, but he didn't. He walked all the way back into town to where there was a diocesan living quarters or something. He stayed there, which was crazy. But he made the point. He's like, I can do that. I don't care. I'll walk wherever. It's because he's just him, and we had a whole family of people.
Father Will was our first priest, and Nick knew Father Will. That's who he'd been communicating with, and he is a wonderful French priest, but he is quite the character.
Yeah, he was on. We had him on an episode, and he's like crazy energy all the time. He's somewhere else in the world right now, but
No, I think he's back just yesterday.
is he?
Back?
He had texted saying like, "Miss you guys, bro. Can't wait to hang out" or something like that. But I thought he was still overseas.
Oh, good.
how available are the sacraments, like mass and confession and stuff?
Oh man, well, that is one good question. One of the things that each of us is longing for is we are really hoping to get adoration made available for us, and what their problem has been in the past that just nobody comes to it. Unfortunately, when they do have a time of adoration, right now we have some priests who are certainly open to doing that for us, but they do so much traveling to go to other villages on this day or that day because they have a wide range where they're ministering to people. They're not sure of the sustainability of always doing it on Thursday at this time. So I would say that's the biggest one that we're like, man, it'll be so great to be able to have some adoration time again.
We put that out there, by the way, if anybody sees this and has access to 2 small monstrances that could be used in adoration that
Would fit in a tabernacle.
That would fit in a tabernacle with hosts. If you're out there and you would like, I'll give you the address. We have a mission team coming right at the end of February, first day of March. They get here, and that'd be really helpful for the diocese. I will say, when just to credit Father Glenn, he's the priest out in Ta'am now, where Raya goes a lot. He's a young guy, really really awesome. And I had texted him saying, hey, is there something that you need that would help you, in the church out there? And you normally expect the answer to be like money. We need, projects or funding, and not that they don't, but the response was just, he would like a thurible. I think that's how you pronounce it, but the thing for incense. He said that's what we would really use. We could really use that for our mass experience. And that was his focus, is like making the Mass experience more like it can be and more good for the
I
people,
got you.
not having like another.
I know a
Yeah.
church that has.
And he got
good.
one. And he got one already.
Oh, he got one. All right.
Well, we got
all
a
right.
third. Yeah. So go ahead.
Did he get a boat? Did he get a boat with incense, or does he have that stuff already?
Yep, that came too. Yep.
Sweet.
Huh. So what was the question? What were we talking about?
Before this? We was talking about the sacraments, what was available.
Yes.
Other than that, because the Eucharist is always available at Mass, because we're actually spoiled here in
Yeah.
Sim Reap. We have the only night Mass on Saturday in
In
all
the
of
country.
Cambodia. Because that was one of the things we tried to find somewhere else while we were out traveling, and they don't have it anywhere else but here in Sim Reap. So we actually have more masses here than other places, which is really nice. And the priests have been really good about confession and making that available to us. It is a little different here. Confession, which isn't, I've never seen. I mean, I guess I don't have a worldly view of confession, but it's just a tiny bit different. But it's still confession. It still counts. So, but yeah, the Eucharist is always available. We don't ever do the blood of Christ. We just do the body of Christ.
Now
I
we're
don't know
all
if that's a
curious
preference.
about how confession is different.
I think it was different. We didn't do the act of contrition when you say that you're sorry for your sins. Like they didn't have me. He had me and he had me kneel down. He had us kneel down when he was doing his absolution. So I actually knelt down on my knees for him to do the absolution, but I didn't have to do the act of contrition, which I don't understand.
Okay.
I started doing it, and
Did
he
you?
just started talking over me, and I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I don't
I
know."
don't
what's
know.
going on."
And I don't know what that is because they speak English, so it's not like they didn't know where things were at. But yeah, so I don't know if they just don't do that here or it hasn't been taught to Cambodians. Things are very different with some of those things. Like on Christmas Eve, we had 3 kids, I think, that received their first communion. And then when did they do baptisms? They did baptisms on a special day too.
It was Christmas morning at
Was it
7:30
Christmas
a.m.
morning? So they do
Yes.
the sacraments at different kind of times,
Mhm.
and I don't know what kind of, because that's something I've been trying to find out is like, well, what kind of preparation goes in for First Communion? Because like when I did First Communion classes and First Reconciliation classes, it was 24 sessions. Like I had my kids for a long time to teach them about those things, and it was necessary because they had so many questions. And I'm just not sure what it is that's going into the preparation here. And because I don't speak Khmer at all, I speak it, but it's pretty, it's pretty elementary. So, I
Speaking
don't
of
know
that,
what kind of lessons.
Speaking of Khmer, how's the Khmer? Are you all trying to learn Khmer every day? And where are you all at? Who's the best and who's the worst?
Jacelyn's the best. She spends the most time because she's trying to be a doctor here, so she's definitely needs it. So
Yes.
she spends and she does the best when we're out too, like practicing it. Like she intentionally tries to speak Khmer with the locals because some of them will just try and speak English to you, and she really pushes to try and speak Khmer to them, and they'll even correct her, which is great because she's learning it. So yeah.
Yes.
Sweet.
So it feels at times like it's going really slow, but I do feel like the thing that made me start feel like I was taking steps again is forcing conversation with strangers more than I usually would. And just like every day in this situation, I have to learn a new word and I have to practice at least one phrase with these people that I'm seeing today, wherever it is. And so because yes, it is interesting. I'm really great with studying and I'm great with flashcards and stuff, but then you go out and it's still hard to understand what people are actually saying.
Yeah.
So trying to begin learning to hear it.
Yeah. Oh man, that's gotta be tough.
Go.
Because we have our language tutor that comes every day and does the kids for like 30 minutes, but a lot of times I'm gone. So I'm not getting that really every day, but just being with the people so often, I'm learning that way. A lot slower than Jacelyn, obviously, but I don't know. I can understand bits and pieces of it, and I'm learning little by little. Just my vocabulary isn't.
It is. You do understand more than you're able to speak. Like there are things that you hear out, you realize what they're saying, but
I will say I was able to understand part of a homily a couple weeks ago. I
That's pretty
understand
impressive.
what it was about. I just needed the little fill
Victory.
I was
Uh-huh.
really impressed with that, but other times I'll not know what anyone is saying.
That's
so.
better than most in the States. So
Yeah.
that's good.
Ah,
So the Khmer language has 24 vowels and 44 consonants. And when I looked it up because Christian is part of his, their oldest is part of his high schooling. He's taking Khmer as a foreign language as part of his studies. And it actually said that it's really hard for Westerners to learn just because of it's so different from English. And so it's amazing
And that is
they've
way
managed
too
to
many
accomplish
consonants.
already.
Give me a break.
So it's yeah, well,
I
and
know.
there are no spaces in the written language. Like they just write, and you just like at mass when you see it, it's just and I seen a meme and I thought it was great. It was actually for the Thai language, but it goes for Khmer. Like somebody was like, "Do you take to write it? You just paint a piece of ramen." And then put it on the paper, and there you go. Like
Oh,
it's
funny.
really funny. The written language is interesting to look at.
Yes. One thing I'm so excited about for our kids, and I'm like, oh, you little lucky ducks, is Hudson and Davy have just started going to Khmer school half a day. And so Hudson, of course, is starting kindergarten there. And yeah, they're just going letter by letter. And I'm like, oh, he's just going to learn so well. And they practice writing them, they practice saying them, they practice words that go along with them. And so I'm so excited for them because it will be like, a good number of months and then they'll totally surpass me. So
Davy does really well.
Mhm.
Davy's 11.
yes.
11.
Mhm.
He is amazing. Like he comes up and says
Yeah,
good
he's got
morning
some
to me
good
in
language
Khmer,
thing,
and
yeah.
he's amazing. He can speak probably more than any of us in some ways because he
Yeah,
just picks it up so quick.
You'll be trying to say something. He'll walk by under his breath and correct you.
Yeah.
You just keep walking. You're like, oh, no.
Very
It's not nice. No, you don't want your 11-year-old to just correct your grammar, but that's what's going to happen. And he has put his foot down. He said he will not be a translator for us. Over and over. No, I'm never going to translate for you. I won't do that. All right.
Man.
Total side
Draw
note.
the
So
line,
the
so.
school that they go out to, Jason goes out with Davy and Hudson 4 days a week, 3 days a week. But the school that they go out to is run by our friend Sambat, who we met like a couple of days in. We went on a ox cart tour out in his village, and I might have mentioned him in the prior episode, but he started this school out there like 15 years ago. And there's like 200-300 students that go to it now. And his wife is pregnant, and he just now texted that she's in labor. So I told him we would pray right now, and he said, "Thank you much for praying." He is not a Christian, but I'm pretty blunt. And I told him, actually, can I hire you to be my translator? Can I preach and then you just translate it? And he said, sure. So I'm hiring a preacher. But anyway, I think we should stop right now, and then people who are watching now can pray with us as well. For her name is Dee, and she's having a baby at the moment. Their baby Gigi. Okay?
Mhm.
All right. In the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Or we pray for Dee right now, that she'll have peace, that she'll know your presence with her. I pray that you'll protect her baby, protect Gigi, and help Sambat, who is nervous about another kid and who is also nervous just about the birth. I pray that you'll give him peace right now, Holy Spirit, and be with him. Thank you for the blessing that they are in our lives and how much they've impacted us so far and made our transition into Cambodia so good. Pray for them and lift them up in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Hey, we should in Khmer.
Non pre niem pre bida, nung pre botra, nung pre vitnian dor visat. Amen.
There we go. Anyway, and we can keep going. That was just
That
he
was
just
way
texted
more
in the middle of it.
words.
I'm so
Fun.
excited.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, do the from your video. What is the beginning of the Lord's Prayer? What is the
Yeah.
ratio?
So I think this, like the first line, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. When I counted up before 10 or 11 words, I
10.
can't remember
10
which
words.
one. And then it was 26 Khmer words to say all of that.
I must say, as Jason, because she translated something for us that was from Khmer to English. That was a prayer. That is something that has really made me realize, like, why we have such a problem with translation of the Bible.
Yeah.
Because what we're saying in Khmer is not the same thing we're saying in English.
It's not
So, and then you're talking about like what it came from, like Hebrew or Latin, and so like the translation through, I was like, wow, that makes more
Mhm.
sense to me now that like translations are so difficult and hard and not the
Yes.
same like they don't have the same meaning as the original language, and that's
Mhm.
there's no way to get around that, like because it's got to be translated in Khmer, but it's just not the same. And so, but that has just made me realize also is like reading it as English, it's not correct. Like I'm not reading exactly what it should be in the original language.
Well, because okay, if the instance in that, like hallowed be your name. What was like how did they get to that?
Yes, that one they said for hallowed be your name. It was please show the power of God so that all people on earth will know the name of God.
Just really long.
Yes.
Um,
So that let me show off. That's my one little thing that I have memorized so far. Well, we have a few mass part memorized. So like, and with your spirit is Hayakong now Chiamoy Vitnin Robalok Pong. And thanks be to God is Som Apre Kum Pre Chiamacha. And then the first part of the Lord's Prayer is Ao Pre by Dayon Kinyom, Diogong now Satambara Masak Ay. Som dying Prea Barumai. Awi monologue school Prea Niam Prea Ong. So there we go.
bad. All right.
I don't have a
Man.
lot memorized. I use my flashcards.
That is
for a
some
lot of
beautiful
it.
Russian.
And that was your Lord.
No.
Thank you.
Well, Kevin, do you have a question lined up? Because I have one, but I don't want to cut if you have one.
Well, I have to cut myself off here. I have to get off, and I apologize. So you're gonna have to go with the next question, and you have to close it out tonight with the toast as
Okay.
well. Yeah, and let's not let it be
Okay,
so
I
long
will.
till our next one. Maybe we can do it again in 2 weeks.
Okay. I'll have to talk to my wife about that. We'll just, she's not. I don't know where she is. I'll ask her.
Yeah. Okay. She
Okay,
already
thanks for
said
being
yes.
on,
It
Kevin.
looks like so. All right, we're good. You guys, awesome to talk to you. Can't wait to visit you.
All right.
Yes.
All right. So because I have you on here, so Bless Cal had asked the question: do the sisters have a chapel that they would allow your family to pray in, and perhaps allow Jesus to be exposed and reposed at times, or is that different than here in the States? And so it is. The answer to that quickly is that it is different, or it has been in the past. I think partly due to COVID, but they were pretty locked down. I think Jason got to go once. Did you go? Was it?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they went once because the sisters have adoration once a week, but it's not really open to the public. And that's why we've had the priest talking about how they could make it work and whatnot. I don't know now if it'll be a little different because they have a different Mother Superior now, and things are so much more open after COVID and whatnot. We'll see.
Yeah, so that they do have a chapel available. That might be one of our options.
Yeah.
But they did say, they would like if we all come for adoration for it to be different than their own adoration time because our children would disturb them. So
Even though they run an orphanage, it's still our kids would be rough.
No.
Because they're rough. So I do actually have a question. So having been here for a while now, because you all have different perspectives, what is maybe the greatest or one of the greatest needs that you have noticed from your point of view in being here? Like the need that you could help or meet or that at least needs to be met. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh man, my goodness, so many.
Yeah, because you've done medical stuff, so you've seen that area now. You've done a bunch of those, and you've been out in villages, and you've actually made comments about things.
I have.
That-
I have some specific stuff.
So then, yeah. So what were those?
Yes,
One of them.
oh man, spiritually, like even the knowledge of the specifics of the Christian faith is widely unknown. Very much so. I mean, even to small things like, we had a Christmas party and all those Cambodian people had never been to a Christmas party and never heard. So the spiritual needs are huge, and there's a lot of factors. Them having a Buddhist heritage, the was killed during that time, and so they lost any of that Christian foundation, and is like they are completely rebuilding it from grassroots type of thing at the current time. Still,
There were 4
So,
Catholic churches left in the
just
country. after
huge.
the marriage.
Well, and so just the millions of Cambodian people, and they took out every church. Like the Catholic Church didn't exist while it was going on because There's a church that Brad goes to in Ta'am that still they kept the bullets in the front of the church because they just murdered everybody. It was a very sad time in their history here. So the church is really rebuilding itself from that time, and so it just is small, partly because of that. So
yes, and medically, I mean, that was the other thing that the country lost during the time of the Khmer Rouge was a lot of their infrastructure. So they're brand new in that. Fortunately, there are a lot of Cambodian doctors, but well, there are just a lot of factors influencing that. You hear that the Cambodian people don't trust medicine too much, and part of that is that they kind of trust their old folk medicine better than they trust modern medicine, and so things that are available, they're afraid to receive, and certain standards. There's things that are different, like we would probably go into some office visits and see what was prescribed and say, oh my gosh, that's not at all what I would do. So there are some differences there. And I don't know all the reasons for that, like the like background of training. Maybe it's a few years behind the research and the guidelines that we're going with in the US right now. So I don't want to be disparaging to where they're at. They're definitely trying.
Well, it's complex.
And there's no health insurance at all. So cost is an absolute hindrance. People in the U, if they don't have insurance, often can still get with a giant bill. Here, people have to pay in advance, so they won't get the treatment needed. I'm not sure about life-saving things, like if a person's ushered in an ambulance, but any type of surgery that they could possibly go without, they have to pay for in advance.
I will say, I think I told you that down the street we've got some construction going on, and I seen a guy that was completely passed out, and somebody was carrying him out, and they were putting him in a tuk-tuk, which is it's like a little transportation that we use all the time. But he was just completely out, and there was somebody just carrying him. They put him in a tuk-tuk. I don't know where he went. Like, it's not like an ambulance came to pick him up to get him care. He was completely out. Yeah, they weren't even rushing that quickly. I was like, he's completely passed out. Like, somebody should be hurrying. Like, so I don't know. Like, yeah, the healthcare just isn't. It's just not like if that happened in the U.S., somebody would just call 911 and then would have been an ambulance and somebody to take care of him.
So along those lines, then, what would be something that you've noticed that stands out?
Well, so my biggest thing is between what I've seen that Jason has gone and done, and I have talked to Nick about this just a little bit because of his background in theology, is I really think that women and mothers need to be taught some very basic things, because I've realized that they don't very basic health things they don't know. They don't know that you need to. The reason we eat food is because that gives us energy from the calories. She visited a patient where they were spreading rice on her and they thought she was getting nutrients that way. And I just really believe that if we could get some really good women's health care to teach moms so they could teach their kids just basic, very basic health stuff. I mean, stuff that I'm teaching to my junior high kids that I might, because I've got a 6th, 7th, and 8th grader, and they're learning that stuff in that grade, in those grades about that you need to take in food to have calories. It's very basic health stuff that I've seen that they. And so they're missing that. And I just think that if there was a class that we could teach that brought health and theology, specifically theology of the body, about how we need to treat our bodies, and that it would be so beneficial to the women here and to their kids, because then their kids can teach the kids, and horrible stuff that we have seen wouldn't happen because they would get the help that they need early and care.
So for instance, we know of a woman, an elderly woman, who passed away because her foot got infected. The inability to go to healthcare, blackened and basically wasted away to just bone and skin, and passed away. And it was largely because of that they didn't go in, and normally we get a cut, and it's not even a thing. It's not a thing you think of. Everybody gets cuts, but it can also end up killing you. If you're in this situation where they used all their money even on antibiotics just to try to help, and that's the state they were in. So that's definitely something. something.
Well, and the other thing is she wouldn't have gotten antibiotics early enough either because it had gotten blackened.
Right. Yeah.
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 Because I would say Nick and I both have had cuts that have gotten infected here. I don't know if we
Mhm.
Jason's been like, I don't know, we can't fight the bacteria in here
Yeah.
for whatever reason. It is. I mean, that's just part of the culture and I'm. Those kinds, but
All right, there we go.
And away
So
again.
then, Raya, how about you? You've been out in the thick of it in multiple places, whether it's on a physical level or a spiritual level or whatever. What have you noticed is like one of the greatest needs you've seen?
Well, I would have to just go with English. Like learning English is a huge thing. I know we talk about that a lot, but I mean, I didn't really understand the importance of it until like weeks in when they're explaining how like you have a better future ahead of you because you can have jobs that you can go into no matter what your education is. If you can speak English, then you have opportunities. And like all these villages and stuff who don't learn English, you aren't able to practice it. They stay home their entire life or in their villages and farm because that's all they know how to do, and that's the only, like, they're too poor to transport to the city and get education or anything like that. So English is kind of their out to have a better life. And so it's so important for all these kids to learn English, and if there's need everywhere in every village, it's just such a huge need.
Oh, that's good. That would also, it's funny because if you just hear that, if you hear somebody say like, oh, their biggest need is English, it can seem like, well, you don't need to go there and teach them your language, but like, no, it's an actual ladder for them to climb.
Yes, it's kind of like right now, that's not just our language. That's the traveling language and the business language and the commerce language, which you really see when you travel. When Nick and I have been in other countries, everybody is using broken English to speak to each other. Whatever country they come from, they're all trying to communicate in English. And so, yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that on one of our trips here in the country, there were foreigners and they were speaking very poor English, and they were just speaking it to each other, but they were still speaking English and not like their native language, whatever that would have been.
Hey, Davey,
it's
can you go check on who's yelling? That sounds like Watai.
Our studio guy, we sent him off to do something. I do have a picture here. So this is the church out in Tom. This is the door. They kept this part of the church that had been strafed with bullets from helicopters, and the whole building had been like that, but they purposely kept that one just as a remembrance for their church. Okay, so then I do have a question from Mei Hui.
I am going to ask them to be quiet.
Okay. Does the Cambodian government allow the church to run schools and hospitals? They do. There's not a restriction. When it comes to building any sort of religious property of any kind, you can't build a church within, now it's 5 kilometers of a wat of like a Buddhist temple. So, and that's partially on purpose, that new law, because the wats are everywhere. And so it can become very difficult. If you want to be around a town or a village, it's going to have a wat, and you're not allowed to build any other religious building besides a Buddhist one within 5 kilometers of it. So that makes it difficult to build new buildings, but the church can run hospitals. One of the big things I had asked a priest the other day, what is one of the ways you found to reach the people here? And he said it was having kindergartens, because a lot of the churches will have, I think I have one in Tom, right? They have a kindergarten there?
Yeah.
And so having a kindergarten is a way to run. It's not a full school. I don't know. Have you seen any Catholic full high school, or church run schools, even if it wasn't Catholic, but like church run?
They're starting the student center.
Okay.
They just started that, but for high school after 10th grade. But other than that, I'm not really.
Okay. Yeah, so it's not as common, and that's the other thing to remember. Like the church is ancient, but it's baby here. It's still struggling to come out of it. I mean, I guess that's what 40-something years old now, and I mean, the church had a presence here hundreds of years prior, but was really it was strafed itself, like down to very little, and it's still coming out of that. It's still struggling to come out of that. But I'm trying to think, I don't know. Well, Jason said hers, a glaring need. What might be your favorite thing? What is one of your favorite things so far about being here?
The sun.
The sun.
She doesn't like the cold.
No, I love the
Minnesotan over
heat.
here. So she enjoys the sun.
Yeah.
I also like just their way of life. Like, I know it's easier for us because we're not kind of like we're not in it. We haven't grown up in like the poor need that they are, but I just feel like it's so much. They are focused on just serving each other, and like growing up, it's just always how do I make money for my family, or how do I serve this person, or how do I serve that person, and they're all just a community, and it's so wonderful. Like, it's very different than the ignorant type of people back home, and they just have a huge appreciation for everything, which is really refreshing to be around.
I think I would go along with that. There's been a few people. Lee, I always go back to Lee because I really like it. He was one of our tuk-tuk drivers when we came here. And he's so very nice, and he's got a wife and kids, and he is always trying to invite us over to his house. And he just wants us to hang out with him and his family and feed us food, and that I can never eat because everything has fish in it here. But he's so kind, and I just think that there's a Greek restaurant that we go to sometimes, and the waitress there is just the sweetest person. She's got a couple of kids, and we talk about her. She's 3 kids. She's got a twins and a daughter, and they're very kind. They try really hard to get to know you and talk to you, and there's just a kindness about them.
Yeah, our big beast of a tuk-tuk that we drive, it had a flat tire, and I had texted Sambat, our buddy, and I had said, "Hey man, where would I go? I don't even know where would I go to get this fixed, because in the States I'd have my own jack and I could take the tire up, but I don't have any tools." And he said, "Don't worry about it." I'm like, "Well, I kind of gotta worry about it. Like, can you give me a location of a place?" And he said, "I'll take care of it." And it was Sunday morning, and I was like, "All right, I'll talk to you after church." So we went to Mass, and it was during Mass I got a picture, and he took a picture of our tuk-tuk, and it wasn't in our driveway. And I was like, "What is going on?" So I actually texted him. I was like, "What?" And something like, I took care of it. And then the next picture I got, it was back at our house with a fixed tire. And he had just driven in from his village and taken our tuk-tuk and driven it somewhere somehow. I don't know how they did that, but that's what they do, like, regularly. They're like truly just there for each other, in a way that I think it stands out, because we have Minnesota nice, and we're there for each other, but I don't know, it's next level the way they.
I had a lady out in the. We were riding our. My daughter and I and Nick's niece had gone out, and we were on our bicycles, and we were on our way home, and the traffic here is nutsoid. Like, the people just drive everywhere. Like, you're on everything. People are just driving everywhere. There's not a ton of rules. There are stop signs. They don't use them. But I was trying to get across the street. The three of us were trying to get across the street, and this lady that was standing there, this nice Khmer lady, was just standing there. She just stopped traffic because she realized that we were having trouble, like the three of us white people trying to get across the road in the traffic, and she just stopped traffic for us so that we could get across the street. Like, she was just happy to step in. So,
and they're just goofy people, all of them.
Yeah,
like,
they have a fun sense of humor.
Yeah, they do. Like, Shaylee, my sister, was just here for the past few weeks, and she she just pointed out, she's like, "Right, when did you get so funny?" Like, well, I guess I've never noticed that, but here they just bring it out in you. Like, everyone's always laughing, joking around with each other. They're so goofy, and it's so fun. So fun.
They don't get my humor, that's for sure.
They don't understand English.
No.
Pass over.
No, it's even, so it's not even that. So we have a gas station close by that I regularly go to with our little moto and our tuk-tuk, and it's the same guys every day, and they fill it up. And I'll say regular, full, and so they'll fill it up. and because everything is full service. And so the other day I was on my pedal bike, and so I biked up to the pumps and I said regular, full, and they were having a hard time. They didn't know, they felt bad for me. They didn't understand what was going on. And I was like, I like, haha, like, funny, full bike. And they were like, no. And so I just rode my bike away, I just pedaled away. And there was one other thing I tried one time. I can't remember what it was. It was a wordplay thing, and they just were like, that's not funny at all.
I tried making a white joke one day to with Lee, and he said Nick said something was spicy and told Lee to try it, and Lee tasted it, and he's like, that's not spicy. And I was like, white people, they just don't know spicy. He didn't get it.
He didn't get it funny. Like, no. In America, we make fun of white people. It's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anything else? I'm trying to think. There was one other thing, but I forgot it. And we've done the questions that were in the side. Anything else? Any comments for people back home?
If you have ever thought about doing missionary work, it is something that you should really consider, because it is really, really fulfilling to come and do work in a country with other people who don't know God's love or Jesus's love, and getting to be around them and learning about their life, because it's so very different from ours. But it is really fulfilling. So if it's something that you've ever thought of, you should pray about it and consider it.
I know a really good nonprofit. The question is, do you have any comments for the people?
Yes, no, that I was thinking, we need to close out with that, since you were interested in doing a session on women who were like following the Lord's leading, and it just that it's always completely worth it. All of the little logistical worries that come up, which probably always money is the biggest one, and how do I start fresh if I go somewhere and have to come back? Like, all of those things work themselves out. If you have to start fresh, you go get a new place and you start fresh. Like, all of that is completely possible. And so often the Lord does call us to things like, without us having to have every single duck in a row and know that, and already know ahead of time, like exactly how it's going to work out. But trusting Him always works out, for lack of putting it more eloquently at the moment.
Yeah, well, that's along those lines for you guys, especially. Like, was that daunting at all, or did people around you think it should be daunting, the move on your own
daunting.
like that?
Mm-hmm.
It was daunting.
Was it?
They're just trying to get all the logistics together of being gone for so long and trying to figure that out. But you're right. Like, God just works things out. Like, even just Father Totet, Lopok Totet, he did a homily one day on like a second job and trying to figure that out. And I was like, he's talking to me. And recently I started tutoring online. I started doing that. That was my like, oh, okay, this is what, this is maybe what I should be doing to help supplement like what I need. But I honestly I went on and just thought it was something that he thought I should be doing. So they just work themselves out. It was not hard, and it's not hard for me to do, and things just work themselves out.
I know for me, like, that was a super scary part. Thinking about coming over here, I'm like thinking about all the people I have to leave, and I don't want to change this or do that. And if I go, then I'm sure this will change, and I don't want it to. Like, just all those things that were super daunting and scary. But like we've been saying, they work themselves out. If it's God calling you to do it, I mean, He'll take care of it, and He'll take care of all of that. So if it scares you, if your heart is in the right place and your intentions are good and it scares you, do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, well then, because the roosters and the kids are getting louder, we can calm it down. We can shut it down. We can just close in a. Oh, go ahead. Yes.
Oh my gosh, really quick. I just want to say something about the kids, since that is like something, thought like very heavy on the minds of mothers, and that we really impressed upon our kids upon moving here, just because that is so important when relating to women about God's calling on our life and what He wants us to move into, that like anything that he's truly calling us to is also part of his plan for our children. And we let our children know, like, no, you're truly where God wants you to be right now. We didn't uproot you and put your life off course. This is what God called our whole family to, and like this is the path he has for you. To kind of let them know, like, it's all of our calling all together. Since you're here and you're a part of it, then absolutely God has something in mind for you specifically in this calling of our family. So
Yeah.
I just want to encourage people about that too, because of course children are a main concern, and we've definitely heard people, say things like, "Oh, I would never take my children somewhere like that." So some people wouldn't, but I firmly believe that the Lord has them in His plan and has got a special purpose in mind for them and for their life from them having been here.
Yeah, definitely. One of our missionary friends had phrased it like that. Like, make sure your kids know that it's not your calling, that it's their mission. Like, it's their mission as well. That God would never just call two people in a family and forget the other ones in the family. That it's, and which is the same for Sabrina and Viana. Like, it's not just Sabrina doing something. It's God's calling everybody. He's capable of doing that, making everybody's mission. Yeah, you gonna say something you were gonna say?
I think that it's a wonderful experience for all of the children, and not that there have not been struggles, but I think it has been very good for them, and that there's no way God would be like, yeah, go with them and teach, but leave your daughter behind, or don't include her in it, or she's called to be here too, and just the things that she's been able to do here, work with the sisters and see the way of life here, and it's been very good for her.
Yeah, it's funny because it definitely is a struggle for the kids. It's definitely, in some ways it's harder, some ways it's not. They're very resilient, but in the ways that it is difficult, they're not detrimental. They're difficult. Like they have been there. That takes a process of working through. But it's fun to even see Hudson. We talked about him earlier. Like, he's actually starting to do really well and enjoying it quite a bit. But he had a rough patch where it was all that severing of the past. Attachments were really tough. But now, like, he's thriving. He's loving it here. He's wearing no shirt. He's laying in a hammock. So,
this is the life.
I know you are, bud. Okay, any other comments? Things, goods, bads, thoughts? Because they're all liking it. So. Like 200 people will see it. So.
There's a question.
How do you guys go about the language barrier? Avi had asked.
Yes, and so it is, at first through the use of translators, like thank God for interpreters, and people here are so willing to help out.
Yes.
Our two friends in particular, Ratana and Sambat, have helped us at businesses, doing things like getting our phones, getting some internet in the house, getting a tuk-tuk and buying a scooter. So people who've been so generous with their time, I'm like, man, I don't think I'd help people this much. It made me feel bad because they are so helpful. And then our hope is to learn the language as we're going, and so that won't be a barrier over time. But it's both a blessing and a curse to be an English speaker. The blessing is that English is the language that a lot of people all over the world know a little bit of. So it's amazing how many people you meet that know a few words that can help us figure out what we're trying to say to each other. But the detriment is that it slows down our language learning because we always have somebody that's available to speak English. So it is both. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't want to practice. They don't want to practice Khmer with you. They
Yes.
They want to practice English.
And they're so helpful. They
Yeah.
just don't want you to struggle. They'll say it in English.
Mm-hmm.
Google Translate is very helpful.
It can be. I
Yes.
got avocado the other day because I wanted avocado added, and I showed her the avocado. She wasn't getting it.
I've had
That was
many
it.
conversations with my friends, just like all on Google Translate, back and forth, back and forth.
Oh, nice.
But also just, I guess, actions, and you just make things work. It allows for a lot of laughs because when I sit down with my friends sometimes, and they're trying to figure out what I'm saying, I'm trying to figure out what they're saying. Like, it's always something. It's a process, but.
And our tutor has made it clear that, like in English, we'll just be delicate, but in English, like raunchy words or just words for private areas of your body are pretty specific, and they don't have a lot of rhyming to them. But in Khmer, you can just say one like half breath wrong, and you just perverted the entire sentence. And which there's a popular song right now about a guy is rapping about the cheap food that you eat, fried noodles and ramen and whatnot. And if you say one of the words wrong, you're talking about female genitalia. And like and you can barely hear the difference between it. So that has been interesting because Ratana, our tutor, and I'm not learning a lot of language, but when I've tried a few times, she will like leaning on you, belly laughing, and just won't stop laughing and laughing at what you just said. And it takes you a good 2 minutes before she says, "You said female genitalia." And like, all right. So yeah, that has been fun. We do have another question, or did you have some along? Okay. We Blessed Gal said, "Is it starting to feel a bit more like home?"
Yes.
Yeah.
We all like every time we hit a new month, we're all like, I can't believe it's only been a month. It feels like we've been here 2 or 3. And like each time it feels like we've been here a really long time. So
It genuinely feels like we've been here a year, easy.
Yeah.
mhm.
And not even in a bad way. Like this is taking forever, but
And and we're just going on this Sunday will be the 5-month mark from when we left. Actually, the 7th is when we arrived. But yeah.
It doesn't feel like that, yeah.
So and yeah, it doesn't take long to like find a few restaurants and coffee shops that you love, find a few items in the grocery store that you like, and you know those little things make you feel more at home.
And I do want to say there are people in the chat right now. I won't say names, I won't call people out, but there are people in the chat right now who support us monthly, very regularly. So I'm glad you guys could tune in, and also like you could see that it actually. To answer Blessed Gal's question, those of you who've supported, like it's actually creating a home for us. And I have friends who are missionaries down in Phnom Penh, in the capital city. They've been here 4 years and haven't gone back to the States. And she in a conversation one time said that like one of my kids was born here, has never been to America. It's not home. And they all are hesitant. They don't want to go to America to visit. Like and it's such a foreign concept at this point to think of kids not wanting to go back to America, but it's not back to them. And it's neat that you can get to that point where it can be home. It can be what you know and are comfortable with. And
we've got a crier. What is it, Pumpkin?
Okay, well we can.
Nothing.
Is there?
Yes, she's had a cold lately. So irritable.
Kids are breaking down.
Anything?
I didn't think of anything else at the moment.
Okay. Well, Kevin's not here, and now we lost Jacelyn. But normally we close with a toast. That our guests have to make a toast. But we were sitting here, and somebody brought up Father Will. We can close like with a prayer. But he said something once that stood out to me, and he said it like in the closing of a little devotional time. But he said like the gift of being in a place, the blessing of being here where his name is not known and his glory is not seen. And that really stood out. Like it's in my head all the time. Like these are the most wonderful people. And it's a real blessing to get to be in a place where it's very rare to be in a place where they have not, at least like they don't know the name of Jesus and they don't know the glory of God. I mean, it doesn't mean that everybody in the States knows and believes, but it's just weird to be in a place, and it's a blessing to be in a place where you might get to live out the glory of God. You might be able to live out that glory. Like you're in Ta'am for people who might have never seen it. And we're talking future plans of women's health and stuff like that, to be able to be that conduit in a place where that's a rare occurrence, to get to be maybe one of the first who's ever like shown that. So, and it's a real blessing. So I guess we can just close in a quick prayer unless you have anything else.
I will say that as I said earlier, that they're so joyful and they're such fun people and so happy and genuine. There's that, but you can also tell that there's the side, there's that part missing, and like the Christianity part and God, that whole thing, it's definitely missing here. You can see it inside them. So I think the more over here, the better for missionaries.
Yes, I was talking to her father the other night, and about how there would be no end to the things you can do if you were to come here. So if you are listening and watching this, and like Sabrina said, you've ever thought of doing it, then we have an open door policy with Freely Given. Like You say the word. Well, if you want to come for a week, if you want to come for a month, come for a gap year, if you're open to like long term, just talk to us. Like email us at freelygiveninc@gmail.com. But like get in touch with us because there's 100% a need for you. There would be there's no, you don't even have to like think it through. Of course there's a need. I mean, I came here. I don't have any qualifications that can help right now because I don't know Kamai. She doesn't have. She just graduated high school, and then Sabrina has a teaching degree, and they can all be used. Like somebody without any degree, somebody who has some training but doesn't know how to use it yet, and somebody with actual, like you can just use it. Like 100%. Hit the ground. There's a need. You'll find probably more need than you could think about filling in your lifetime.
God just fills in those gaps.
Yeah.
I mean, just there are so many things and opportunities. I met a lady, Sam, who needed help walking her dogs because her knee is bum. And I just think God put her in my life because she runs a youth center. And so she teaches about girls. She teaches my people about health and stuff. I really think he put her in my life for a reason while I'm here.
Yeah.
He just fills in those gaps and just.
Yep, just being willing.
Dad, can I say hi?
You can say hi. Say hi.
Hi.
There you go. Okay, well, thank you guys for joining us. If you look, there's plenty of other episodes. I think we have almost 40 episodes or something like that we've done. Please share this episode around so people can see, especially if you know a young lady who, young or old, somebody who maybe has that impression that, you know, you need a spouse or you need somebody else in your life to be successful, or the church doesn't really encourage women to do things. Like, please share this around as an encouragement for anybody who might feel that call. And yep. Okay. So we'll close and pray. Amen. Lord, thank you for this opportunity. I pray that you'll bless these ladies and bless everybody who watched. Thank you for all the support. And also thank you for the opportunity to go to a place where your name is not known and your glory is not seen. In your holy name, amen. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
I think it worked.